All right, let's talk about a job title that you see everywhere. But let's be honest, almost nobody can agree on what it actually means. I'm talking about the business analyst. Is it a real, specific job, or is it just kind of this catch all for, well, everything else? We're going to dive in and get a clear answer, finally.
I mean, you've seen it, right? On LinkedIn, on job postings, business analyst. It's everywhere. But here's the funny thing. If you go and ask 3 different people what a BA actually does, I guarantee you're going to get 3 completely different answers. So what gives?
Well, it's because companies get, let's just say, creative with their job titles. I mean, you'll see postings for a requirements ninja. Seriously. Or a process engineer. And yeah, I promise you, somewhere out there, someone actually has change champion on their business card. So what is really going on here? Okay, let's cut through the noise and get to the bottom of this. Before we can even start talking about all the different types of analysts, we gotta understand their shared mission. What's the one fundamental job they're all trying to do, regardless of the fancy title? Really, the best way to think about it is this. Business analyst isn't some single rigid job description. It's more like a giant umbrella. And underneath that umbrella, you've got all these different people whose main gig is to help their teams figure out what the real problems are and then, design good solutions to fix them. And this really gets to the core of it all. No matter what you call them, every great analyst lives by this 4-step mantra. First, they ask the right questions to really get what the problem is. Then, they analyze all that information to find the key insights. Next, they align everyone, all the key players, on a single path forward. And finally, they help the team deliver that solution. Ask, analyze, align, deliver. That's it. That's the secret sauce. All right, so now that we have that foundation, we can finally start breaking down the different specialties. Let's go on a little safari and look at the 7 most common types of analysts you're going to find out there in the wild. First up, number 1, the process analyst. This one's a classic, and for a really good reason. Every single business runs on processes, and when those processes break, well, you need someone to come in and fix them. And you'll know one when you see one. These are the folks who get genuinely excited about flowcharts. They can look at a wall just covered in chaotic sticky notes and somehow organize it all into a clean, logical workflow. Their whole purpose is to make messy, confusing operations actually make sense. Okay, number 2 on our list is the systems analyst. And in a world that's just completely run by technology, this role is, you guessed it, absolutely critical. Think of the systems analyst as the essential translator. They're the bridge between the IT department and the rest of the business. They're fluent in what we'll call Techlish, that special dialect that lets them understand what the business side wants and then turn around and explain it to the tech team in a way they can actually go and build it. Now, our third type is a really fascinating one. It's the data analyst who's evolved into a business analyst. And we're seeing this happen more and more, especially as companies get totally obsessed with making data-driven decisions. For this type of analyst, numbers are literally their love language. Their superpower isn't just finding cool patterns in the data. It's connecting those insights directly to what the business is trying to achieve. You'll find them thriving anywhere that's driven by KPIs, key performance indicators. All right, at number 4, we're shifting gears and jumping into the super fast-paced world of software development. So let's meet the product or agile BA. This analyst is right there in the trenches, embedded in a fast-moving agile team. They're the ones writing the user stories, which are just simple descriptions of a feature from a user's point of view. They help keep the development sprints, those short work cycles, realistic and on track. A lot of the time, they're acting as a product owner proxy, which basically means they're making sure the voice of the customer is always front and center. Okay, next up at number 5, we have an analyst who focuses on what is often the single hardest part of any project, the people. This is the change or transformation analyst. Look, you can build the most amazing, brilliant system in the entire world, but if nobody actually uses it, it's a complete failure, right? This analyst is the people whisperer who makes sure that doesn't happen. Their entire job is about user adoption, training, and just managing the human side of all that change. For number 6, let's zoom way out, like to the 30,000-foot view. It's time to talk about the strategy or enterprise business analyst. So this analyst isn't down in the weeds of a single process or system. Nope. Their job is to make sure that all the projects happening across the company actually align with the big, long-term vision. And yeah, they probably do love a good PowerPoint, and you're definitely going to hear them talk a lot about things like value realization. And that brings us to our seventh and final type. And honestly, this might just be the most important one on the whole list. We're talking about the hybrid BA. Because the reality is, most experienced analysts are hybrids. They really do the bit of everything. One day they're mapping out a complex process, and the very next day they're writing user stories for a new app. They become these ultimate stakeholder wranglers, managing the needs and expectations of everyone from the developers to the C-suite. They're the versatile, do-it-all generalists that every team desperately needs. So, okay, now that we've walked through these 7 archetypes, let's circle all the way back to where we started, those super confusing job titles. How do these roles actually show up in the real world? On a business card or a job description? Right? Because you're almost never going to see a job posting for a hybrid BA. It just doesn't happen. Instead, you'll see titles like these: product owner, functional consultant, requirements engineer, business systems analyst, operations consultant. These are all basically business analyst roles just hiding in plain sight. And really, this is the main thing to remember. The names might be different, but the mission is always, always the same. Connect people, data, and processes to solve real business problems. That's it. That is the true heart of business analysis. So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Whether it's your official title or not, just based on what you do every day, which type of analyst are you? Or, maybe the more important question is, which type do you want to become?